So everybody, Mike Lyons here. So we're going to start a new series. So I'm going to do a full workout, show you guys how I would take a client through. This particular day is going to be more on growth, but it is more on the end of stretching out the muscle. Someone that comes to me and really doesn't have technique perfect and stuff like that, and they seem to do short range motions, I'll give them this style of workout, and it really kind of starts to lengthen them out, and they'll notice that they're going to get extremely sore. And you'll see some partials in here sprinkled with supersets, some really elongating exercises, a lot of static holds, stuff like that to really emphasize stretching and squeezing. But let's get into it. So the first exercise is just basically a neutral grip lat pull down, just to kind of get everything started, get everything warmed up. I usually like starting with some sort of a pull down motion to really kind of lengthen out the lats, get blood flow, get everything moving, stuff like that. So big thing with this was that I tell my clients is get yourself in here, lengthen out, like kind of arc your spine a bit. Like don't really kind of crank it, but just arc it enough that you feel that chest has come up, and then your shoulder blades are out and wrapped around, so you do feel a stretch from the armpit around your back to the other armpit. And you can kind of feel when your elbows come down, you feel the muscle engaging. So there is that spot. So once you find it, you stay there. So everything's locked in. So now I'm here. And you just come up to that stretch feel and down. Stretch and down. Obviously, common mistakes are, once people get into this position, that's great, but they start doing this. They start using their torso to help themselves, which is detrimental because you're really using your body weight to move it. So that's why you keep everything stagnant, keep everything here. So for this, warming up, I'm gonna do like 10 to 15. You're just warming up the muscle. Sets, I would do probably 2 feeder sets, 3 to 4 working sets. Once you start to get to a weight that feels comfortable at like the 10 to 12 area, because your working sets, I want you doing like 10 to 12 to 15 for feeders. But it's more so just getting yourself warmed up, getting things moving, getting blood flow into the back, stuff like that. So there's gonna be 6 total sets on here. So, all right, so we're moving on to a superset. We just finished a high pull, so now we're gonna do a seated row, and we're gonna superset that with the variation pullover that I've showed you guys a few days ago. So the reasoning behind these two is we've already put some blood into the lats. We've warmed up with the neutral grip pull down. So now we're gonna do an underhand seated row. So that is engaging the biceps a little bit, but I really wanna emphasize that chest pop and squeeze, getting those lower lats engaged. So it's gonna hit you basically between the belly button and the sternum. Go to pretty much absolute failure on these and go a little bit heavier. When you move over to here, I really wanna emphasize the stretch. So you're really feeling that stretch right up into the armpit, and when you bring that down, you're really getting that full squeeze. So again, engaging those lower lats. So this is basically lower lat. That is emphasizing stretching out the lat and getting that lower lat kind of engaged even more so. So for a bodybuilder, this is really gonna work like a Christmas tree, stuff like that. So it's a great superset to elongate and stretch out that muscle, okay? So let's get into it. What I tell my clients is basically get yourself up ready to sit, pop that chest up. You're gonna lean forward until you feel those shoulders kind of come around and feel that stretch. And notice that I'm only coming up to perpendicular, so I'm only coming up till I'm straight up. I'm not leaning back when I do this. Full stretch out. Here. As the elbows come back, chest comes up. Elbows come back, chest common up. Common mistakes are a lot of people use momentum. They get into this position and they start doing this. All that is lower back. So you're basically you're losing your lower back and your arms to make this move. So the reason I stay upright and more so in a forward angle is I try to get that full stretch, but I want to emphasize pulling those elbows back and popping that chest up. So the verbiage I use is drive elbow, pop chest. So as soon as they're out here, I'm like, okay, hold the stretch, drive elbow, pop chest. Full stretch, drive elbow, pop chest. So that's the verbiage I use with a lot of my clients, is get it in their head is drive the elbow back, pop the chest up. So it really helps them think about getting those elbows back and popping that chest up. So like I said, you're gonna go fairly heavy on this one. You're gonna do reps of like 8 to 10, and then you're gonna move on to this. And this one's gonna be more lightweight and failure. You get in here, get into that spot where you really feel that stretch. So I'm lowering my shoulders away from my ear, arcing that back. So I feel that stretch right up into my armpit. I'm driving elbows down and I'm really flexing that lower lat at the bottom. I'm holding it for a good 2-second flex. Nice and slow on the way up. Hold that stretch for a count of 2. Drive down and hold. 1, 2. Slow on the way up. Hold that stretch. Drive down, squeeze. 2, 1. All the way up. 2, 1. Drive. 2, 1. Common mistakes are, as I mentioned this in all exercises, people always try to go too heavy. This is a burnout exercise. So if it's too heavy, where you don't have anything holding yourself down, literally you're gonna feel yourself getting pulled right off the bench. You want to basically feel the stretch and the squeeze. So this is medium weight, it's not heavy. And you're just coming down, you're feeling every inch of this. So that's why it's slow, negative. Hold the stretch, so pause at the stretch. Drive it down nice and with explosiveness, hold it there, slow on the way up. You get a few reps into doing this, you're gonna feel every inch of this moving. And another one is, a lot of people when they do this, they try to use their arms and they come all the way out here. So it's just elbows. It's just elbows down. Your hands are just hooks. So you're think about elbows. So it's elbows down. All the way up. 4 sets of that, of the combo. So 8 to 10 on the row. Failure on the variation pullover. At this point, at the end of that, you're gonna have a supreme pump. You're gonna feel your back's just inflated from your armpit down to your lower lat. Then we're gonna move on to the next superset. So this is exercise 4 and 5. So we're gonna do a plate loaded high row. We're gonna move into a pin loaded, a chest protected row. So this is really gonna hit lengthening out the lats. So it's a higher row coming mid back. And then when we're moving into the chest protected row, I'm gonna sit in a spot where it's gonna hit more so mid to upper back. It's all gonna be on elbow travel, which I'll go over when we get over there, but this is more so as we were really concentrating on lower lat in the first 3 exercises. Now we're kind of transitioning up the back as we progress. And then got a good finisher coming up at the end. So with this one, again, using the chest pad. So you want that basically full stretch all the way through your armpit to armpit, all the way around. And as your elbows come back, picture yourself driving that chest right through this pad. So full stretch, popping that chest, full stretch. As I'm driving my elbows back, so I'm driving my elbows so they're not tucked into my body, they're just on the angle of travel of this arm. So it's straight back. So a lot of people, they try to change the angle. So they'll try to tuck their arms in, which means I have to lean in this way. So I'm using this machine as it's intended to. So I'm going on the travel of the arm. So most of my feeling right now is kind of superior and inferior, right up into my armpit. And once I pull everything back, it's kind of mid to lower back. So bottom of the rhomboids, bottom of the traps. Common mistakes are, as I said, people try to change the angle of the elbow, going too heavy, bringing themselves away from this or using momentum and really kind of arcing themselves this way, which is taken away from the whole back exercise. So if you can tell from this angle, if I come way off, like I'm changing it. It's the same as doing a lat pull down and using my torso and doing this, it's changing everything off. So keep yourself up against the pad and use it. Use the pad for what it's intended to be used for. And then you're gonna go to failure with this, try to go fairly heavy. Then we're gonna transition back over here. This machine, I wanna put the seat all the way down and basically sit myself all the way at the back and lean myself in. So as you can tell, the pressure of this seat is pretty high up on my sternum. So same thought process as before. So as my elbows come back, my chest comes through this pad. So full stretch out, full stretch out. Your elbow travel should be rate correlated with where the pressure is on your chest. So it should be coming straight back this way, because that's where your chest is against this pad. So chest comes up, elbows comes back. So I'm not trying to change the angle here because I'd have to move the seat up. So wherever this chest pad is, and this is where the pressure is, this is where I'm pulling back. I'm pulling straight back. So it's mid back to upper back. So it's basically right between the shoulder blades, rhomboids, up into the traps. So with this one, go medium weight and just go to absolute failure. Same as the other one, you want that full stretch for a sec, full squeeze for a couple seconds. So really concentrate on the stretch and the squeeze. The tempo, everything's the same. So this superset would basically rep you right out. And then we're gonna move on to the final exercise of the day. So this is gonna be the last exercise for the full back day. So we finished one singular lat pull down, a superset, another superset, and then we're gonna finish off with rack pulls. So today I'm gonna be using this, this machine here. So it's a plate loaded. It says trap lunge deadlifts, but I'm gonna be using for racks. So I'm just basically bringing the handles up to knee height, and you can load it, excuse me, you can load it up as much as you want. The big thing on this is once you get here, your back is gonna be extremely full and pumped up. So I stress on keeping your back nice and straight, keeping your form. So what I mean by that is when you get into here, so everything's nice and stagnant. Everything's nice and straight. So basically you're just coming up, tapping it, coming back up. So as you can tell, when I come down, my shoulders are parallel. When I come up, I do a little chest pop, just to have that little flex. Down, chest pop, down. I'm not moving my hips forward. I'm just popping my chest. Pop. Common mistakes are when people get into this, they obviously try to rack it right out, and then they start to curvature their back. So once your back starts to curve, or you start to feel it in your lower back, you need to either lighten it up or just stop the exercise altogether, because all that's gonna happen is you're gonna cause an injury in your lower back. And speaking from experience, that is one area you do not want an injury. So do this with form in mind. Go as heavy as you can. For this, you're gonna do sets of 8. You can do 4 sets of it and just basically go balls to the wall. Like, just as long as your form is paramount and you're keeping everything nice and firm and stiff, go heavy. Go as heavy as you can. But form is paramount. As soon as you start feeling it in areas that you shouldn't, like your hips, your lower back, stop it. So that's your full back day for today, peeps. Put it in your next day and let me know how you feel. Write it in the comments.